I hit the record button, and the computer says it's recording. So,
Well, then that would be a 100% improvement over the last time we tried to do this.
yes. And similar to the last time, though, I'm seeing nothing on the software that shows any levels of sound waves, but I can see my audio going in. So, we're just going to go with it.
Yeah, well, you're plenty audible over here.
Good, good, good. I think it's picking us up. I'll just turn it up in post or however that works. And we have a different episode tonight. Welcome back, everyone, to the show, Focused on Nothing podcast. I am Ted, host guy. And tonight we have special co host Dan, my uncle.
Oh, I'm actually co-hosting.
You
I'm
are
not
the
just
co
being.
host, yes.
Wow.
It's just you and me. We can do whatever
Well,
we
then
want.
I am like totally honored.
Well,
I should
thank you for
I should like a Stephen Colbert impression or something.
whatever you like. It's your show at this point.
Much ado about nothing. Let me see here now. So anyway, you kind of were gave me kind of an outline that you wanted to talk about some of the old shade tree mechanic adventures that went on over at Harmony Lane.
Well, yes, yours specifically, because we're here to
Oh,
document story time with Uncle Dan. That's the series
oh,
goes.
okay.
But I'm sure that my grandfather had some shenanigans. Your dad along the way, affectionately
Well,
known as
there
Pop.
was that issue with the 25 Chevy 1-ton pickup flatbed.
The Chevy pickup. That the one that ran him over?
Yes, that's the one that drug him across the driveway in front of my eyes. That I was like, he says,
How
and
old?
I thought he was on one of the frame horns, and I was really worried that he was going to get crushed or be pinned between the Dodge Dart and the frame horn, but he was in between them. So it was like I came around after the thing ran into the Dodge, and there he was, much to his chagrin, still alive and kind of wondering how to get out from underneath it.
And slightly broken, if I recall.
Yeah, it tore up his leg pretty good. He was in a like a mid calf to right below groin cast for it must have been about 2.5 months.
Wow. And let me
But it
guess.
was when he went to work. That's the crazy thing about it. He was working commercial at the time, which is
This is
called
for
MRE, Mobile Road Enforcement. So
the
he was
highway
the
patrol,
officer,
right?
yeah, of the California High Patrol, and he was in a jumpsuit, and he just wore a little 2-inch 38 because that would get in the way of being the armed mechanic that he was at that time. And he was up checking brakes on an Maui grade, and the truck driver said he noticed the cast and said because Dad had to cut the leg out of his coveralls to be able to get it on over the cast.
Of course.
And he says, "What happened to you?" And Dad just says, "Truck ran me over." And then and the guy got back in the cab of his truck and was like, "Oh no, this guy's going to shoot me."
Didn't mention it was his own truck, and he kind of did
No,
it
he
to
didn't.
himself.
He was the stupid guy that left it in gear.
So how does one run themselves over with a 29 what Dodge Chevy?
Chevy. It was this 25
Oh,
Chevy.
25.
And I can't remember where we got it. I think we got it over on Del Porto Lane, which is right where eventually where the heck what went in there.
They don't remember.
Custom Colors was on that street, and also Klondike Pizza was over in by that shopping center.
In Santa
But anyway,
Maria
back in the day, it
or
was just
Rio
yeah,
Grande?
it was Klondike. No, there was a Klondike Pizza in Santa Maria too.
Oh, there was when I was a teenager, but I think they opened when I was a teenager. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah, they were in Arroyo Grande to begin with.
right. Okay.
And that used to be the Bridge Street basement pizza place that I went when I was much younger, before you were born.
Um, I'm yes, that's what we're here to talk about. Those times. So, 25 Chevy pickup. How does
25
one?
Chevy pickup over on Del Porto Lane, over where the present Klondike Pizza is. And that was just all white trash over in there. And Dad was driving around one day, saw this truck peeking out from behind somebody's garage, and I think he offered him to haul it away for nothing.
Wow.
And I think that's how we wound up with it. Of course, he shows up in his highway patrol car, and all the people there were like, "Oh yeah, whatever you want, officer." Yeah. So I can't remember. He
Sure.
got another key to hook up a truck and a chain, and we drug it home. The tires held air, and we got it and stuck it in the back in front of the garage. And Dad was always, whenever he hauled something in, he says, "This will run. I know it'll run."
Of course.
And it had this old vacuum assist fuel delivery system that was completely rusted out and wouldn't work. So he took all of the spark plugs out. It was a 4-cylinder. Poured a little bit of Marble Mystery Oil down each cylinder,
As one
and
does.
it had it had an electric starter, but
Oh,
I
wow.
can't remember whether we had a battery or what. But he put me on a hand crank that was with it that actually went in, and I turned it over and turned it over and turned it over. And about the time he felt that it had enough turning over and had some compression, because he put his
Oh.
thumbs over each of
Uh,
the things. He says, "Oh, well, that's got some
so,
compression."
so this was with no plugs, no ignition, not trying to start it, just turning it over.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Then he put then he poured some fuel into each one of the cylinders,
Perfect.
and put the screwed the spark plugs back in,
Uh-huh.
and then he took a nail file, an emery board, and filed the points, and we hooked up. I can't remember. It was just a little 6-volt battery, because everything was 6-volt system in those times,
Yeah.
and I think he took a condenser out of a Model A and stuck it in there.
That'll work.
Not
Well,
out of a Model, it was on our parts department,
right, but for a
and he
Model
stuck
A.
that all in there, and and he had it blocked, and he left it out of gear, and he cranked it over about 3 times, and it fired up and goes and goes
Nice.
down. Okay, so there was also little primer cups on each one of the cylinders. So he took pipe cleaners, it's right, they're in the head right next to the spark plugs,
Okay.
and it's like a little uh, butterfly valve that you open up and fill the cup full of get fuel,
Huh.
and open it up and then close it, and you've effectively primed the cylinders again. Well, he showed about 3 or 4 or 5 people that he could make this thing run, and for whatever reason, he took the blocks out and put it in gear.
Perfect.
And somebody came over to the house, and not thinking to put the block back in front of it and take it out of gear, he went through the whole thing of hooking the battery back up, and he's going to impress everybody and show them, "Oh my goodness, I can make this old rusty thing run. Watch."
Yep.
And it was one of those things like, "Here, hold my beer." So
That may have been said.
yes, I'm sure it was, because I was holding a beer at the time. His favorite brand was Olympia, and he hooks the battery up, and he pours the gas in, and he gets in front and very proudly reaches down and cranks it, and man, it fired right up, and it was
Mm-hmm.
in gear, and it proceeded to knock him over, drag him across the back apron in front of the garage, over into the neighbor's slab from the Stroops, and he had a 63 Dodge Dart that was parked along the side. Well, the car, the Chevy, the 1-ton flatbed, because Dad was being drugged underneath the axle, he must have hit a wheel and turned it a little bit, and it started veering
Perfect.
right towards the car,
Oh no.
and it T-bones uh,
No.
the passenger door. And I'm thinking that Dad, because he's out of sight, he's over the front of the radiator on this thing, and I'm thinking he's on the frame horn, but he had moved over to the center, and he was right in between the two frame horns that were sticking out from the radiator, and this thing smacks into the Dodge Dart, and I crawl. I'm running towards the front to see if he's okay, if he's not sticking off of one of the frame horns and the door of the Dart, and he's in. Take it out of gear, Danny.
could you push this off of me, please?
And that's exactly what I did.
And so
And then went and then and then we drove down to Marion Hospital emergency room.
not in the truck, I presume.
No, that was in the Blazer that we
Oh,
went down.
oh, the Blazer. We'll get to that one
Oh yeah, well
momentarily.
that's the story. That's another story.
That's why we're here. It's story time. So, so what happened? I mean, it was. We'll get to the Blazer in the hospital, broken leg. We got all that. What happened then next with the pickup and the old Dart? Did those were those around much
Well,
longer?
I think the Dart was. I think he paid all of about $50 for the thing. It was a little
Wow.
slant six,
Still,
and but the thing is, it was perfect. There wasn't a dent in this thing
until
until that.
until there was.
And the neighbor came over and said, "Ah, don't worry about it, Tom. It's no big deal. I wasn't really going to do anything with it anyway."
What? Oh, so
So
that was the neighbor's car.
yeah, that was. Oh yeah, it was not
Oh,
his.
that's see, I've missed bits of these stories through the years. I knew there was a Dart involved. I knew it was a beautiful car. I didn't realize it wasn't his.
No, it was the neighbors who had a 53 MG,
Little British
the little
car.
roadsters
Yeah.
that were full fendered.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there was one of them parked next to it that he missed.
Well, that's good.
Now, now, Mr. Stroop would have been much more upset had he hit that little MG.
Wow.
And then he had another MG coupe parked behind it. Everybody on that street back then was a wrench of some type,
That sounds
and
like
he
my
was
people.
a he was a an engineer out at the base. He had the two MGs and this Dodge, and I don't know why he wound up getting the Dodge. I think it was the right price, $50, and it ran
Yeah.
and it was great.
I'll take any
And,
Dodge you've got for $50, and I don't really want to own a Dodge.
but the Dodge Dart was ugly, and it was a hardtop though. It was you could have put a big or even just a little small block, a 360 or a 340 or something in it, and it would have screamed. It was
But the
popular back then.
yeah, the 63s, did those still have the four headlights that were slanted?
No, it just had a single bug eye on each
Okay.
fender, and then like a bullet, a circular tail light on each little fender pod.
Yeah, it was right before they changed the style. Those are cool little cars. I mean, they're
Yeah,
much cooler and much older now, and way more than
yeah, and
$50.
you could get the Dart or the Monaco in 63. I think in 66 or 67, you could get them with big blocks.
Yep.
Not they weren't really all that plentiful, but you could get them in big blocks.
And
But if you were going to play with that, it would have been a little small block or that slant six that was in it.
even
But
my
anyway,
what I was to say, my favorite
oh well,
Barracudas,
that's
the first generation only came with the slant six, or I think the Commando was the biggest V8 they had. They didn't come with big blocks.
the first uh,
With the big,
Cudas were the little, it was like a 314 or something. It was a really weird thing that had the big giant glass back because they
yep,
only came in fastback, and then in '66 you could get a slow back,
right, and those
and
were a little more
that's my
popular.
favorite.
I prefer the
Yeah,
first
the
generation.
yeah, the '66 and '67 were is my favorite year of CUDA. And you could get if you had a lot of money, you could get those with Hemis.
A lot of money in '67 was probably like $3,500 new.
Yeah, that was about what they were.
You could find a shell for a 65 for about 8 at this point.
The '65s, I've seen them up here for 2,500, 3 grand, and not rusted out, and all the glass.
Well, that's not terrible. Those are my favorite ones. I love the spaceship window. It's so wrong. It's right.
Yeah, true. Well, did you ever like the Marlin the same year?
No,
Yeah, the Marlin was the AMC,
right there, and
and
that no, I
it was a much better built car than the Dodge.
not
The one thing
surprising.
about all those old Dodges, because I drove them from '72 on back, and they had great drivetrains. I mean, they were
Yes,
bulletproof,
I'll give him that.
but those bodies were crap.
So that's
You,
yeah, that's basically my opinion on Dodge to this day. And if anyone's upset by that, I'm sorry, but good
No,
engines,
that it
good transmissions, and then everything that you look at or touch just kind of falls apart.
yeah, it's just junk.
Yeah.
I remember I borrowed Pat O'Keefe, who was the nephew of the guy that owned Rancho Maria Golf Course, had a 71. His parents bought him a 71 Challenger
Oof.
with the Kowalski pistol grip shifter and a 383 Magnum. And I did all the work to it. I put the headers on it, I put a Torker manifold on it, a Holley 750 double pumper,
Nice.
and all kinds of stuff like that. And for one of the dances we had, we swapped. I had swapped him my 57. It was actually the Sons of Grease. It was a 50s era dance that we had at the gym, and he wanted to go in the 57, and I wanted to jump on his
Well, sure.
Challenger.
I both
And
make sense.
I was taking it out with my girlfriend to Guadalupe Beach when you could drive out there without having to go through a gate, and going out 166 Main Street. I jumped on it, and I thought that thing was going to fall apart. The body rattled, the doors rattled, the window. It felt like the window was going to fall down in the window channel,
Wow.
and everything shook. And the shaker hood that they had on them with the little pins that went in,
So that was
it was a
shaking.
damn good thing. It was a damn good thing that those pins were on there, because I swear that hood would have blown up off of the damn
Oh
thing.
man.
But it screamed. That there was no two ways about that.
So that brings me, I think. So you shared that's awesome story. I have a story about a Dodge pickup that you are familiar with, and it ended
Oh, that was the
sadly.
one I gave you.
Yes, and so I think I'll take a few minutes and just share that. It's way less exciting, but I don't know that we've ever discussed the full details of that, and so I'm gonna start with I apologize, and then I'll tell the story. So
Okay, I'm all.
I was all of 20, 21. My Uncle Dan here, generous guy, says, "Hey, you want this truck?" And I had been trying to buy a truck and didn't have a bunch of extra money. And I said, "Yeah, that would be wonderful." And so, generous guy gave me his pickup, 82
85.
Dodge D150, D100.
No, that was a one.
I'm sorry,
It was a 350. It was a 1 ton.
1 ton. And
Yes.
it needs some work. And that's fine. It's free. The price is right. I'm not complaining. So I rebuilt steering column with some junkyard parts and did some questionable things with some welding, but it worked. And then we lived in California, so it needed emissions, so I could transfer the title. I go to the emissions place, runs it through, fails emissions. All right, bummer. Get it back home, figure out all the vacuum lines I can. It's this was 2004 or 5ish, so it's not that old, 22, 23 years old. Fix all the lines I can, get everything working best I can. Go back, you get a free retest. They test it for me. Numbers pass. Awesome. I did it. And then the tech tells me, "Oh, but we're still failing it because the EGR valve didn't open all the way." I'm like, "How? First of all, how are you sure of that?" And second, it passed emissions. They put a sniffer in the tailpipe. They read the readouts. They rev it up. They rev it down. Pass the numbers. So I didn't know what to do with this truck. And then a friend of ours was having a baby and working hard and didn't have a vehicle. And I thought, all right, cool. This guy probably knows some people. Maybe he can do some things. He was mechanically inclined. I said, I'm going to give you this truck so you can get to work and take care of your family. And a month or two later, I find out from my dear uncle that truck has been abandoned in a different town, and they contacted him because I never was able to transfer the title because I couldn't get it to pass emissions.
Yeah.
So I am sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I was
Because
trying.
I'm surprised you got it smogged at all, because it had a 78 Dodge Aspen 318 in it. It didn't have the original 360 in it.
This is new information. I had no idea. But
Yeah, that's probably why there weren't any of the smog things hooked up, because
I
I
hooked
put
them
it
all
on
up.
there just.
I hooked them all
Oh,
up.
well,
I
that's
found
good.
a diagram for the vacuum. I got it working, and even the EGR, it worked, but it didn't work well enough for whoever tested it. And at that point, I didn't know what else to do with it. And like I said, and I'm not saying that anybody's ever gone around emissions in California, because that's not a
Oh, I
thing.
have done anytime I could get around it, I did.
That's not true. It's a podcast, it's a story. It's made up.
Uh,
Anyway, if this guy that I gave this truck to in trying to do a nice thing for somebody, um, if someone could do it, I thought he might be able to, and then that ended how that ended. So if that was more heartburn for you,
well,
I do apologize. It was fun to
I
work
bought that
on.
truck brand new.
I'm
I
sorry.
bought that truck brand new.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I got every mile out of it that I could squeeze.
I mean, I drove it around a bit. I couldn't register it, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't have another
And
path.
then I sold you the Chevy Love diesel that didn't require any of that.
Yes, which is impressive because again, California, and now I live in Arizona, and I was in line today behind behind one diesel pickup, and then there was two UPS trucks behind me and another diesel pickup behind them because in Arizona they do emissions on diesel trucks.
From all years.
Yes,
Oh wow!
all years, and they put every one of them on the rollers and they measure their emissions.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's rough. When I moved here, they did emissions on motorcycles.
Oh man.
That has since ceased. But yeah, I got here. Crystal's cousins, she had some cousins who moved here to go to ASU and finish school, and then one of them bought a motorcycle. I was like, cool, we got it running, ran great, got it tuned up, and then took it down to the emissions, and it failed twice. He couldn't register the thing. And I'm like, it's a motorcycle. It doesn't have emissions controls.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do to adjust it. It's like,
Yeah, all he could do was lean it out, run it, hot as can be. It was an old air cooled, I think, Yamaha, and we went through it and it failed. And like 2 months later, they lifted that regulation. He was able to get it registered. It's crazy to me.
oh man, that you could tell there were lawmakers that knew nothing about mechanics that passed that law.
Yeah, and it's just Maricopa County, the greater Phoenix area. The rest of Arizona's have a good time, do whatever you want. This is America, but here there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people here, so I get it.
I buy a piece of property outside of Maricopa County.
Yeah, even Maricopa City, ironically, is in Pinal County, which is 30 minutes away by a small lot. I'm not saying you could register your cars there, but you could.
I'm thinking you got to look at the angles. You got to work the angles.
Well, I'm good now because my truck is 63 years old and it's exempt. Even that's more strict. In California now, what is it, 1976 and earlier?
75 and earlier.
75. Here it's like 1965.
75 is exempt. Yeah, 76 you have to smog. At 75 you don't.
Yeah, so Maricopa County is, I think, 65 and earlier is exempt.
Oh, jeez.
But my truck's a 63, so it's good. And today, I'll do back-to-back stories here, just because it was literally today. I sent you pictures we've been talking about. I have now a 1995 Buick Roadmaster wagon.
And did that smog?
It passed.
That's unbelievable.
Well, it's got brand new rebuilt cylinder heads and brand new catalytic converters from Canada. And everything's hooked up. Everything works. And it was they take 3 readings out of the tailpipes, and it was about a third of the limit on all of them. It did good.
If you can get a new cat, you're going to clean all that stuff up because what really goes bad is the cats.
Yeah, well, so I had to because when we bought the car, it didn't have any. Someone had procured them for themselves.
Yeah, well, and at least in Arizona, you can buy the ones out of Canada and wherever else they might come from.
Yep.
I've got an 07 Toyota Tundra, and the marvelous engineers there built the catalytic converter so that the little honeycomb comes loose inside and rattles around.
That's fun.
And the one that I could buy in Oregon was $350. The one with the little decal on it that says it's from
Carb.
that it's acceptable in California was $3,500.
Wow.
For the exact same converter made by the exact same company, but that little piece of tape that's on it is 10 times the price.
So theoretically, how hard is it to take a sticker off of an old one and put it on a new one? Theoretically.
Well, theoretically, the whole problem with it is it's rattling around because theoretically the easiest thing to do is to put those little stainless steel cages that take the oxygen sensor on the downstream side of the front one that actually makes the fuel injection work. Uh, you get that little stainless cage and put it in that and screw it into the muffler and everything reads fine.
Huh. Allegedly.
Oh yes, allegedly.
We wouldn't know.
But I went ahead and bought the $350 cat and brought the truck up here, which is registered in
Yeah.
this great state because I am a property owner
I was
here.
going to say, yeah, you have
And
property in Oregon. I would go ahead and just
yes, well,
register all of my
there's
vehicles there.
there's you are a relative and you can, well, you're going to get this property and you might as well be on the deed now because I'm long of tooth and old in age.
Let's not get carried away with all of that. Name on properties, I'm all right with. The rest of it, man, let's just play it by ear.
Okay,
We got time.
well, we can make it work.
All right. So that was that was my first story. Oh gosh, excuse me. Great podcasting stuff here. So that's one from you,
Well,
the old Dodge truck, and then one from me, a newer Dodge truck. I think we promised getting into a story about a Blazer.
yeah, that was when I thought I was going to have to join the Merchant Marine and leave high school and go make money to pay Dad's Blazer off.
So
And and
what was the backstory on this Blazer? How did it come into the family, and why
well,
was that special?
well, Dad was driving around a '57 Chevy big window 283 3-speed overdrive,
Pickup?
a really cherry little '57 Chevy pickup that he bought for $500. And
That sounds like the thing I would want to keep.
uh, not if you're uh, let's see, how old was he at that time? He was in his mid 30s, and he was tired of driving old trucks that were my age, and he wanted to get a new 4-wheel drive, super go fast 1972
Brand new.
Chevrolet Blazer. Okay,
1972. Oh
yeah,
man.
and we had the when he went down to order it, he ordered this truck from Chevy.
Wow.
It came with the very powerful 307,
Nope. You don't
which
want
was
that.
it was a detune 350, which is a piece of crap.
Yeah, that Camaros were
And
stuffed
he got
full
a
of
four
those.
speed. Yeah, he ordered the 4-speed because uh, you don't use your brakes as much going downhill. You slow down with. I go, what's easier to change, a clutch or brakes?
Brakes.
Brakes,
Yep.
obviously,
Brakes.
but
I knew
but
that one.
Dad didn't ascribe to that particular true uh, truity.
I just like
So you got
shifting
the four
gears.
speed, and on the Blazer in 1972, when you ordered a new Chevrolet Blazer, all you got was a seat and a windshield. You didn't get the top,
Oh man.
you didn't get the seat, and you didn't get the back seat, and you didn't get a spare tire,
Dang.
and you didn't get any chrome or anything else on it. So Dad ordered it bare bones, but he did get the top, and he
Okay.
did get the seat that Mom could sit in, and then he got the back seat so that Terry and I could sit in it, your mother.
That was very kind.
Yeah, so we didn't have to just sit on cushions in the back. And
Here's a blanket. Good luck.
yeah, and this was in 1972, and I turned 16 in 1973,
Okay.
and I got my learner's permit and I got my driver's license. And there was one day, and Dad he waxed it every day, and he took really good care of it. It was like brand new. He bought
Yeah.
this thing, he ordered it, it was his, and he really was going to go deer hunting with it and scratch it all up and just have fun. So we were sitting around the house on Harmony Lane, and my dad said, "Why don't you go get some barbecue wood over off of uh, Dominion Road so that we can have a barbecue tonight?"
That's a little
And I said,
bit.
"Okay, that sounds fun." He says, "Take the Blazer."
All right.
Well, they were having a realignment of Clark Avenue and Dominion when you get where it dead ends now.
Yeah, no, that
Well,
one road just ends and then it's a T intersection.
yeah, and that's Dominion Road.
Yeah, and it's kind of out in the
Well,
hills, even
yeah,
today.
yeah, it's actually right where Bruce Gordon's house was out there.
Right.
But anyway, back then that was just a little 2-lane road, and they had it tore up, and it was a dirt road.
Okay.
This was before they made it the nice big 4-lane wide thing that it is today. It was just a little dirt road, and it had a great big high dirt bank on it.
Hmm.
And Mark Graff, my good buddy that I
Influencer.
had known, pardon me.
Influencer. Hey,
Yeah, well,
we should drive on that.
he was a year older than me, and he had already had his driver's license for a year. And we got out there in the dirt, and I stepped on it, and we were fishtailing around. Well, it fishtailed and then bashed right into
Oh
the big giant bank of dirt that was over to the left. And
no.
rather than stepping on the brakes and stopping in good form, I tried to drive up over that, and I came up over and laid it over on its right side.
Oh.
And I was trying to get out of the Blazer, out of the driver's side, which you had to
Now it's
open the door up and then crawl
yeah.
out.
Now it's vertical.
And I was stepping on Mark, who was in the passenger, and he was much chagrined about that. And the truck was still running sideways,
Ah, that won't last
or
long.
the Blazer was still running. So Mark reached up and turned it off,
Thank you,
and
Mark.
we both crawled out. And the people that were working on the road at the time witnessed this. And
What time of day was this?
this was about 3 o'clock, 3:30,
Yep, that's still work time.
and they had a nice big Bucyrus crane that they
Wow.
were using to move things with.
Like
So
blazers.
Mark ran down the road to them, and this great big steel tracked crane is coming towards me. Dong, 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 dong. It looks like the end of the world is good. And the guy comes over and he says, "Well, let's get this thing down. Let's get this thing over."
Oh
So he
yeah.
hooks the crane and lifts it up, and the cable screeches in the fender that I've already hit and
Huh.
crushed into the tire. he he puts the cable on it such a way that as he lifts it up, it pulls the fender off of the tire so that it's drivable.
Oh, that's good.
We get it over, and there's just dust and dirt, and Dad had just taken it to the car wash, and it was clean.
Ah.
And of course, I pulled back into the driveway, and they get it over. We get it started up, and we're driving back towards the house, and I'm going,
And yeah, what are you
"Oh my
thinking?
God, what is going to happen?
I'm dead.
Dad is going to kill me.
Uh
He's
huh.
just going to kill me." And luckily, he wasn't armed at the time. I
And
pulled into.
he would never actually kill anyone. Injure
Well, he
perhaps.
was he was as mad as about I've ever seen him in my life, and he's only cussed twice that I remember before I turned 18.
Okay. I was gonna
That
say
was one of them.
so
That was
Dan
one of them,
induced.
and the other one was when we had to tow my Model A back from St. Joseph High because it rained and got all the points wet and it wouldn't start.
That's not that
And
critical.
but when I was pulling him back I was pulling. Dad was in the Model A and I was in the Blazer
Okay.
before it before
Yes.
it got
Before the
crushed,
fateful day.
before the fateful day, and it
Did you brake check
broke the
him?
chain. He said bad words, and I could hear them all the way in the Blazer as I was pulling down onto Harmony.
Uh, I
Anyway,
that's good. I think I only heard that once, and he was, I, I believe, laying nail strips for carpet in the expansion on the house in Oregon, and I was
uh,
sleeping in the back, and it wasn't finished yet, and I'm pretty sure he thought I was still asleep. He was not having a good time. That was the only time I ever heard that man swear. It
Yeah,
was
he was pretty. He had a kind of a rule that he says, Danny, if you start swearing, all that shit does is show your ignorance from coming up with the correct phrase. I kind of took that to heart, but
yeah.
not a lot.
No, he was well behaved. Well, definitely.
Yes, and he never used the F word until we both worked as cops uh, at UCSB when I was a cop there, and he was there working as security for the '84 Olympics.
Ah, yes,
And
I,
he
I knew
said,
you worked that. I didn't know he did
yes, he was actually one of the hired people, the
by the Olympics.
lieutenant. One of yeah for the Olympics, he wore the little blue beret and had the little Olympic star in motion.
Oh, that's so awesome.
But he had some really choice words to say about the organization of that little event
Well,
that he shared with me as he got into the patrol car, and I took him back to where he was parked. And that was the first time I ever heard him use the F word.
I mean,
And
it's a pretty good
yeah, he
record.
yeah he for let's see, I was 25 at the time. So yeah. But anyway, uh, the Blazer. Getting back to the
The
Blazer.
Blazer on your
So
way
I
home.
pull into the driveway, and I said, "Dad, you got to come outside." And he goes, "What?" And
Good, nothing.
um, he walks over to the front, and he starts to see that there's some things that are maybe bent. And why is the thing all dirty?
I just
and
watched
and he
this.
walks and he walks around and sees that the fender is bent, and the windshield is shifted to one side, and
Oh wow!
there's oh yeah, I rolled it up onto the side and over, and then
Right,
it came back to rest. So
Ugh.
it was uh, it was quite not in the same shape that I took it out in.
to say the least.
And he said, "Danny, this you what have you done?" And he was kind of like at
Oh.
a loss for words, and then he found one. And he said, uh this is the only new thing I've ever, and it wasn't. He was kind of taken aback at it, but Mom told me later that he had bought several new cars over the years,
All right,
and
that I
this was
didn't
just
know
the late
either.
this was just the latest one.
Well, the
And
most current memory.
yes, and they had bought a new '58 Nomad, brand new.
Ooh, I did hear about the Nomad. I didn't know it was new when they got it.
Yeah, it was new. And but anyway, getting back to the Blazer, uh, he said, "You are going to pay for every bit of making this just like it was when you left here."
I don't think you could do
And
that
I looked
unless
at
you
that
bought
and I
another
thought,
one.
I looked at that and I thought, I will never be able to afford this on my $1.25 an hour that I'm making at the Chevron station on Stoll. So I'm thinking, how am I going to make money? So I looked into joining the Marine Corps, joining the Merchant Marine, and
Excuse me.
they were going to have to sign. Went to Mom and said, "Will you sign for me to join the
Yeah, you were
Marines?"
what,
And
16?
yeah, I was 16. Would you sign for
Oof.
me? And she says, "You're not going to have to do that. You're not going to do that." I says, "I'm not. Dad's going to kill me. He's going. I'm not going to sleep in my bed. I'm going to go in the
No.
backyard where he'll have to find me."
You have to chase me down. Never find
So
me.
that next so we didn't obviously we didn't have a barbecue that night.
No, you didn't bring it. You went all that way and didn't bring any wood home.
No, I didn't. That was probably the ultimate sin.
Yeah.
But then
Insult to injury.
so I didn't sleep well that night,
Surprise.
and he, I think he got out. He took the Blazer and put it in the back, uh, in between the houses, and he put a hydraulic jack and a 4x4 on the house, and
Huh.
he jacked the windshield over to where it was straight.
Wow. But did the glass break or just
No, it didn't.
the whole thing
It
just
it
shifted?
it just shifted the whole windshield
Wow.
over back.
And
It was
and and he moved it back and it still didn't break.
right.
That's impressive.
Well, I was only going like 5 miles an hour when I laid it up on the side. It wasn't
I
like it
mean,
was a
5 or 50.
high speed
I figure
track.
if the whole frame shifted places, glass, is fragile.
Well, the thing is, it's just attached. It's like a roadster pickup. It's just the windshield,
Uh,
and it goes down to those
yeah,
two little pieces of windshield that go down into the body.
at the bottom of the A pillar. I guess
And
that's
that's
it
just,
because the whole top came off, so it was
yeah.
floating. The rest
It
of it
was
was
kind.
just floating.
It was kind. It was kind of floating. It wasn't really connected.
Huh.
It had two little clamps in the front,
Right.
and then there was a whole bunch of 9/16 or quarter 20. Anyway, I think there was like 3/8 screws all along the back that held the thing on, and with a rubber gasket. And he had the idea that he was going to take the top off for hunting and stuff like
Well,
that. But
yeah.
then you look at, it's not made to be a quick on and off
No, it's
thing.
probably 247 bolts.
Yeah, and that just wasn't something that was going to
And you
happen.
can only use an open end wrench.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he had a ratchet wrench, but we didn't have any air tools until I was much older. Because he didn't have a compressor.
All right, now you still have the compressor he eventually did build.
Yeah, it's right to my right as I think about that.
I can
And
hear
he
that
got that one.
thing. All I do is close my
All
eyes. I
the
can hear that compressor.
yeah, he he got that compressor for the first payment of repainting all of the Knutson trucks to Carnation trucks
Oh wow.
that he did in the backyard for Mel.
And
Anyway,
wait for as payment or to be able to do the work. They have to do the work
he got
first.
he got the first he got the money for the first truck he was going to paint up front,
Okay, good.
so that he could buy the compressor so that he could paint them.
Good, good, good. It would have been terrible to have to do that with like a brush and then wait.
And, yeah, that wouldn't be the first time that we and some other inventive ways that we painted cars. You
I
could take a Raid bug sprayer
uh-huh.
and put primer in that, and you could
How?
pump it, and you could
Oh,
actually paint
okay. I got
that
it.
way.
It was like the pump, the bottle with the pump on the top and the sprayer. I was thinking like an aerosol. I'm like, how did you fill that?
Well, no, there were no aerosols then.
Yes,
Harbor Freight had not been invented yet,
I'm slightly younger than you. I apologize. I got there.
but it was actually a Raid bug spray thing.
Uh-huh.
It had the little round can and a spray nozzle on it, and it was a you pushed on the back of it, and it had this big long tube that the end of it sat on top of a small, like a tuna can,
Right.
that had a nozzle on it.
So for weed sprayer, but refillable, and then you just pump it up
Yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah. We painted several cars with those.
So I actually painted. You probably recall the Mustang I had in high school.
Yes, I
The
do.
'83 Mustang. Before I sold that car, I painted it with Rust-Oleum and a 3-inch foam roller.
Ah, oh, those zany Hilker and Doom boys.
And it turned out beautiful. Single stage Rust-Oleum. I had found some internet page that said you can do this and here's how, and I was like, well, I've got more time than money, so I'm gonna spend thirty
Yeah,
dollars on materials. And I probably put 6 coats on the car because they came out so thin, but it looked pretty good.
yeah. We would start off with primer of zinc chromate.
Ah, the
You know
good
what that
stuff.
looks like?
Is that the red
It's
one?
a no, it's green.
Ah, the green one.
Zinc chromate. Oh, that was terrible stuff.
I'm sure.
I'm I'm sure
Zinc
I'm going
is
to have
poisonous.
less because Dad never believed in having a respirator or anything to keep
Yes.
fumes from go.
And
I mean,
aerosols are the best form of chemicals.
when he was working on Volkswagens, John Brockhouse got him this 55-gallon drum full of the stuff called
Not familiar.
trichloromethane.
Oh,
They used,
familiar now.
yeah, they used
Not good. Don't breathe.
no, no trichloromethane, and he would take the Volkswagen engine cases and transmission cases and dip it in, and they'd come out looking like brand new.
Yeah, and
But
if you
if
got
you
your
drop
hand too
something,
close, it would
oh,
make
if
your
you
hand
drop
look
something,
brand new.
well, yeah, I used to have to reach down into that
Oh
stuff without a
no,
glove
no.
to get this stuff. And I'm going, Dad, this is making my skin feel
Yeah,
tingly.
you were
And he
paler
goes,
than
don't,
usual.
don't, you know, don't be a wuss. Just get the parts. Stop dropping them.
Can I get a hook? Can I get something? A glove?
Yeah, it was like crazy. But that was the kind of guy he was. And it's like
Yep.
he never wore a pair of gloves in his life. It's like,
Oh
and I
man.
go, can't we wear gloves, Dad? He goes, what are you? You're a wuss? Yeah, come on, this makes you stronger. And it's like, oh God,
Yes, the bleeding
I'll
is
never
great.
forget that 5-gallon drum of trichloromethane.
Brockhouse, huh?
Yeah,
Thanks,
and
John.
they were trying to find a place to dump it at the base, and it's like, oh, these people in spacesuits are going to come out and take it away, but
Yeah.
oh no, he would pick it up, throw it in the back of the truck, take it home.
He'll go take it home. That's fine.
Yeah, well, if they ever do a soil sampling back there at the back garage corner, it's going to be a super fun cleanup site.
Well, the good news is no one knows where that is, and we don't have a lot of listeners, so it's fine. Nothing to see.
Nothing to see here. It's all broken down by now
Yeah, no,
anyway.
it's only water's gone in the ground back there. I'm sure of it.
Or pee because you didn't want to walk into the house, or
Yeah,
mom wouldn't let you into the house after you traipse through all the oil out there in the garage.
I might have been guilty that a time or two. Who knows?
Yeah, it could happen.
It could. It was a very
So that was and that was one of the other side stories of auto repair. There was the trichloromethane. That was
no. That's the good stuff. That's where we get into the gold. Oh, and by the way, we were just dissolving our skin, cleaning engine parts. Oh, cool.
yeah. I'm sure that acts as a solvent through my skin. Yeah, probably not good.
It might have preserved you. We don't know.
Of course, there was the Model A that I built first.
Yes, that I wanted to
That was
get to
how
that,
we.
and we are what are we at? 50 minutes or so, maybe 45 minutes or so. But I definitely want to hear about this car. This was your car you built and drove to high school.
Yeah, the Model A,
Yeah,
1929 Model A Roadster pickup, started with a bare frame. That
that's not a lot of car.
No, just a bare frame,
That's zero
and
car.
we built the whole thing by going to swap meets and buying parts.
Wow. How
Uh,
far away? Like not
the
just Santa
farthest.
Maria.
Oh no, this was Bakersfield, Fresno,
Okay,
Turlock.
so two,
Those were
four,
all the
five
big Model
hours.
A.
Yeah,
And San Luis Obispo used to have a Model A swap meet.
just for Model A's.
And yeah, well, yeah, it was
Wow.
just the Model A Club sponsored it, and they would have parts. And it's like, I can't believe just how many parts were available when I was in high school that you could get for a relatively reasonable price.
And that car
But
was
there were some things that I really paid for dearly.
well.
I don't know if you ever met Don Warren.
Yes.
Well, Don Warren
Didn't
was.
Don Warren give me a ticket? I think he
No,
did.
that was Don Edwards probably,
No.
or Don Rogers.
I think it might have been Rogers, but not Warren is
Rogers
definitely
gave me a ticket too. You're nothing
a.
special.
Yeah, I would have thought by the time I was driving he would be retired, but he was not.
No, he wasn't. No, Leon and Kerwood and Rogers, they were a pair. Anyway,
Yes.
uh, Don Warren lived down off of Rosalie,
Oh, all
and
right. Like
his daughter went.
two blocks
Yeah,
away.
his daughter went to high school with me, and he was a Model A collector. He was a retired full bird colonel in the Air Force.
Yeah, Warren was neighbors with the guy that I went to grade school and high school with, Ginhart family.
Hoskins or
Ginhart.
Gedhart. Okay.
He was, if you
So
went to
anyway,
Warren's house, he had that old Datsun, and then they were right next door. By the time
oh,
I was 15, 12,
okay.
however time works.
Well, Warren had a Model T uh, touring car that had been cut off and made into a flatbed, and he had a 20, I think a 29 Sport Coupe, and he had like 4 or 5 Model A's in the
Yeah,
backyard,
I think my buddy's
and then
dad bought
over off of
a Model T
over
from
off of
him.
Okie Flats, he had a whole bunch of collection of Model A parts and stuff over there.
All right.
Well, one summer, I needed to get some parts. He had some headlights and a headlight bar and something else, but they were kind of trashy. They weren't the best in the world. And he had a 62 International Scout with a winch on it. And I spent 3 days that he had me crawling underneath those great big lupin bushes at
Hmm.
his place, throwing a chain around him and crawling out, and then he would uh, winch out the lupin bushes, and then I would have to stack them up. And I did that for 3 days for these absolutely almost worthless headlights and headlight bar.
Yeah, that's more time than money right there.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where I wasn't doing anything else, and if I wanted the parts, that was how I did it.
Yep.
And I
I
started building this Model A in seventh grade,
wow.
and
That would have
we got it all
been
to
what 69. Hold on. How does time work around there?
yes, let's see, 72, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 69.
Haha, nailed it. Subtraction.
Yes, there we go. Math things, yeah, doing brain things there.
Still, I mean,
Yes,
so started building it in seventh grade, and when were you able to drive it? Sophomore, junior?
sophomore year.
Okay, that's that's a good amount of time. But again, you
Yeah,
started with a single piece.
yes, a single piece, and we went. Let's see, Don sold me a. First, I bought a 30 coupe body from him with a rumble seat for $150. It was a nice coupe body. It was straight,
Oh,
but
I'll
I
buy
didn't
that
want a
off you
coupe.
right now for $200.
Oh yeah, I think yeah. I sold it for 150. I didn't make a dime on it,
Yeah, well, go find it. I'll give you
but
200 bucks right now.
but then I gave him that 150, and he gave me a 29 Roadster pickup bucket.
Okay,
But the firewall had been cut out. There wasn't a gas tank. There were no doors,
that is where
and
the
it had been in a fire.
oh, and a fire.
It was
I
a
was gonna say that is where they keep the gas tank is in the firewall.
it was a crappy piece of garbage, and I paid 100 and a half for that. And I wound up selling that for 100 and a half to a hot rodder back in the day.
Wow,
But there was a preacher over in Shafter, California, that had a really nice bucket with a gas tank and the firewall and the side panels, and it was straight. It wasn't rusted out. It was in
nice,
really nice shape.
very nice.
And paid, I think I paid 200 for it, and I think I got no, I didn't get the doors with it. And Roadster doors were really expensive and hard to come by. I think I paid 200 for the and granted, I'm making a buck and a half an hour,
Yeah, that's
and but I'm
1970 ish.
but I'm not dating any women, so I'm not spending money except on myself and this Model A.
That sounds like it was a good choice.
Yeah. So I can't remember. We got the motor. I got fenders, running boards, splash aprons, and the bed off of the Bar M Ranch in Los Alamos, and the guy just gave me all of that stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
And Dad and I
Oh,
sandblasted it,
microphone. I'm back. Sorry.
and Dad and I sandblasted it and primered it all up, and Dad did a lot of the body work on it, and we got that onto the chassis. Then we lowered the bucket on it, and then I went in search of doors. And there was a guy by the name of Henry Escarzaga in town that had a completely restored 29 Roadster pickup, and he had a bunch of parts, and he had two doors.
All right.
And I think he sold me the doors for maybe $50 each. They
Wow.
needed a lot of work, but we wound up getting those on there. And I just buy little things here and there, like fender braces and running board
Over
braces,
over
and
3 or 4 years.
yeah. And Dad got the oak lumber for the bed, and he dated it out and made all the grooves in it so
Nice.
that it would fit in the bed. And we finished that with linseed oil. That came out well. We bought all of the 21-inch wheels and hubcaps at the San Luis Obispo Model A swap meet, and I think we got 5 wheels for $125
And these are
with
the
tires.
the wire spoke wheels.
Yeah, the 21-inch, which were the 28-29, the
Okay.
little 19-inch ones were 30-31, and then the
Huh.
16 inches were the all the body styles newer than that,
Yeah. Later.
the Model B.
It's funny how they got smaller for a little while, and then 80 years later they just got bigger again.
Yeah, and then and then you've got the ones that have got like a 1-inch sidewall that Bum, 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 bum. And
Hey,
the
hey now,
Cadillac,
hey.
the Cadillac Escalades.
I may or may not have 22-inch wheels with small sidewalls on my current old truck.
Well, everybody has their own thing for that particular era.
Yeah,
It's kind of it makes your stamp on it. It's like when I finally got to my 57, the 16-inch tires that were on, that was another great. I paid $75 for that car.
and this was a 57 Chevrolet, 2 or 4 door,
Two-door Bel Air hardtop.
2 door Bel Air, $75.
Yes.
All right, I'll pay you double right now.
I got it at Elmer Grossi's in Buellton, the Buellton, Elmer Grossi's muffler in Buellton.
Oh man,
And they had taken a torch and slammed back in the front by heating up the springs and then jumping on it.
they did it the right way.
And then on the quarter panel, right above the wheel well on the back was Earth Angel in blue with glitter.
Oh, do you have pictures of this? I've not seen this.
No, I didn't take any pictures.
Oh,
I wasn't even thinking of it that day.
the
In fact, the
opportunity.
only one I think I've got a back picture of it after we painted it 1973 Corvette yellow with a white top. And Dad did all the upholstery on it, the taco roles. And
So what
I
it
think
looked
I
like?
got a piece of gold carpet at the swap meet that we put in it.
Perfect.
And we didn't reupholster the back seat.
No,
We
that's
just painted it black vinyl paint.
no one uses that. You just doll it up a little. No one, don't worry about that.
Yeah, and then Tammy Vieira went swimming in her underwear, got in the back, and she wore all the vinyl paint off.
Oh, that probably was unfortunate afterwards.
Yeah, she didn't look real good after that. It was kind of a it was like, what am I going to tell my mother? And so, well, I wouldn't tell her anything. I think I would some
Say
way to.
nothing. Nothing happened.
let's not we shall not speak of this any further.
Who are you? How'd you get in my car?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that was a great car,
well,
and
it still is probably somewhere.
I ran the plate when I became a cop. I used to run the plate and find out where it went.
Oh, awesome.
It went to the Bay Area, and I sold it for $750.
So that's an order of magnitude, 10x.
Yeah, and the thing I bought with it was a '66 Super Sport with a 396 with a vinyl top and electric windows.
Chevelle, Malibu.
Yeah, Chevelle
Nice. Electric windows.
Super Sport.
Yes.
They didn't work when I got it. The door had been opened and closed so many times it had broken all the wires in the little snorkel that went out to the door to all the
And, and it was all
window
of
motors.
it was all of what, 10 years old?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah, the
I
windows don't work anymore. They're worn out. It's old.
yeah. Well, so I peeled it back and I soldered them all together and then put some. They didn't have that little dip stuff that you could use. Then I just think I just wrapped
Tape works. That's all you need.
tape around it. That was it, and they all worked then, and that was like styling, man. You could
Yeah.
electric windows in your '66 Chevelle
Um,
with a 396,
yeah.
and I stepped on a whole bunch of Mustangs with that thing.
Oh, surprise. 289. Bye bye.
Yep, bye bye. There was one that was close. That was I couldn't beat the that Challenger though. He was the king of the parking lot.
Just drive it until the fenders fell off. I
Yeah,
win.
that's pretty much. Well, he was kind of a little shithead kid, spoiled rotten, and
Huh.
whenever he would screw up, he would get grounded, and they would take his car away from him.
Well, happens.
And then his mother would drive him to school
Oh,
in
that would be.
his Challenger, and then drive away with it. And that was like, oh,
that would
hey, the
hurt.
answer on you, Pat. What's going on?
That would definitely hurt a little bit.
Oh, it definitely did.
Good. That's the whole point.
That was, yeah,
Yeah.
it
Listen up,
worked.
kids. Don't mess
Well,
up.
it really didn't work with him being a shithead, but
Well,
at least it got enough ribbing from everybody else.
yeah. No, that was well played by mom.
Yeah, my '57 Chevy, Dad did not tell me this because it was a two-door Bel Air hardtop, but it had a 235 in it.
All
It
right.
didn't come with a V8.
Hmm.
So we had a 283 that we rebuilt. Mel's son had bought this 283, and it was all apart. And I think we paid $50 for it. And Dad and I took it down to Ed Cox's garage, and we rebuilt it
That
and
seems
stuck
like
it.
a good price for a 283. $50.
Yeah, it was. It was, and
That's
it came with a whole
wild.
new set. It came with a whole new set of gaskets and everything.
Oh, I spent four
Somebody
times that
thought that
on gaskets.
it had new gaskets, new rings, and new bearings. It was all the parts to put the thing back together.
Wow.
The block, the guy that had gotten it had it was all the big rage. Then you paint the inside of the block to seal it. Well, he painted it with some crappy paint, and it came off as soon as it got hot and
Ugh.
plugged all the oil valleys up.
And then it
And
didn't work.
he spun all the bearings.
Uh-huh.
So I'm out there with a drill with a little wire thing on it, taking all this paint out of the block to get it all cleaned up. And then running pipe cleaners through the uh, oil gallery to try to get all the paint out. And then we couldn't afford a hot tank at $15, so we took it down to the car wash and blasted it out.
Where was the trichloromethane?
We didn't have it then.
And clean. All right, done.
And although I could pick up a Volkswagen block and throw it in there, holding a 283 over a barrel, without and we didn't have
Waste.
we didn't have
Like a gantry or
a hydraulic. We didn't have a hydraulic picker. We had a chain fall that Dad.
That's all you need.
Yeah, well, but then you got to move that whole bucket of trichloromethane from the back of the garage, which
don't splash it on yourself.
I didn't like getting close to that thing. Anyway.
No one should ever.
And it's amazing that that's what they put in fire extinguishers.
Well, it's because it melts your skin off.
It was also used in a little spray bottles for spot remover on clothes.
Perfect.
They used to have little spray bottles of that stuff.
It'll clean your clothes right off of your clothes.
Yes, it worked.
Yeah, a lot of things work for a lot of things, and will kill you.
Yeah. So that was the. So anyway, we put the 283 in there, and I didn't find out until I bought this 3-deuce setup for the 283.
That's 3 carburetors.
And it had 397 Strombergs on it.
Cool.
And it had progressive linkage and all this stuff on it, and it worked. And I put that on there, and I had a cell distributor, and I put all the cell wires on it, and a great big giant 50 bazillion volt cell coil. And the thing just was still a dog. I mean, that 57 body by Fisher was heavier than a sled.
Yeah.
And that 283 just it wouldn't get out of its own way. And I couldn't figure out why. And then finally I took all the linkage off of the progressive linkage off of the 3-deuce, and I just hooked up and I made a couple of plates and plugged off the front and the back, and the single 2-barrel carburetor outperformed the 4-barrel carburetor that I had on it before, and 3-deuces. And I finally realized that we hadn't changed the carburetor linkage from the 235 when we put the V8 in it. So it only pulled back halfway.
50%.
Yeah, and I think Dad knew that and never told me. And I figured it out, and it was like, oh man, and I was jumping on that thing all the time, man. After that, it worked out really well.
I could see just leaving that one alone. Like, that'll be a little more conservative. Perfect. Teenager. See you later.
Yeah, and he never told me. Anyway, I figured. I finally did figure it out, and then I started getting stopped more.
Well, side effect.
Yeah, they had just widened Bradley Road to 4 lanes, and I got out there with the 57, and it was running well. And I lit them up right past the end of St. Joseph, and Pat O'Keefe lit him up, and he had bought a 65 Mustang, and we were headed southbound on Bradley.
All right.
And of course, an off-duty deputy sheriff pulled out right in front of Pat.
Oh.
And yeah, it was not a good thing. He didn't hit him.
Oh, good.
But but he was in uniform and he was screaming at Pat and I to pull over at Patterson. So we pulled over, and of course, his name was Joe Qualey, who I later got to know pretty well when I became a cop. And that day, he had to make a big, giant flourish of calling my dad and
Oh.
saying, "What kind of juvenile delinquent are you raising?"
Mm.
And dad got on the scene, and he was working that day.
Oh, good.
And he said, "He's 18. Do what you want to do," and drove away.
Okay. And then?
And Quayle, being a deputy sheriff, didn't have a ticket book with him and didn't want to write us a ticket, so he gave us a stern talking to.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I heard about it later,
Certainly.
and I can't remember what the punishment for that was. It was not good.
uh, I got to escape all of that as the grandson.
Yes, because he would find, oh, well, he's just my grandson. He's just a boy.
Yeah, he's an
Everything's
idiot. Don't mind him.
he's a good kid. Yeah, he'd be fine. But no, his son, no, that was not the case.
Well, he was responsible for you, and you turned out all right. I think it turned out pretty good.
That we went one morning. We they called the first period or something at St. Joe's. So we're all looking at each other out in the parking lot. And says, "Oh, let's go drag racing." So we
Oh, sure.
went out to Highway 1 and had a couple of races out there, Mustangs with this, that, and the other. And I'll be damned if I didn't twist a fan belt off of my car, and I was beside the road. And who should pull up?
Well,
Dad.
it is highway patrol. He's everywhere.
Yes, what is it with you?
This is before cell phone tracking. He just knew.
Yeah, but the thing is, he missed all of the racing and everything that had just occurred,
Well, good.
and I was the straggling dog behind with spitting my fan belt on. And he's like, "You guys are not here racing, were you?" "Oh, no, no, no,
Nope.
no, we weren't.
You didn't hear
No."
that. Everything's fine.
Yeah, well, did someone call?
Uh-uh. We just got here.
No, deny, 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 and then when you're caught, that's when you go.
Yeah.
So that was some of the hijinks with the 57.
That's a good one.
And then after the 57, I bought a 69 Super Sport El Camino with a 396 and a 4-speed.
So, okay, I'm confused. There was a Chevelle
Yeah,
SS.
I sold the Chevelle and I bought the El Camino.
And bought the El Camino. Okay. And same engine size, another super
Yes.
sport. And still in high school?
Uh,
After
I
high
just
school.
graduated.
Just
I
after high
just
school.
Yeah.
That's a whole bunch of awesome cars. That's
Yeah, and then from there, we painted that. Dad painted that
ooh.
1966 Corvette Targa Blue Poly
Was that
with the
an El
with
Camino that he saw parked on the side of the road or in a neighborhood and then bothered people enough until he sold it to him, or was that a different El Camino?
that was the 68. That was the green one that my mom drove. And then my sister crashed. Oh,
Yes.
your mother. Yes,
That's
that would be
that's why
your mother.
I knew about that when I was wondering if it was the same one. And then
Yeah, that was
the story went like it was all down the side and then he pulled it out and filled it and then just got rid of it. This will never be the same again.
yeah, that was my sister. That was your mother.
Yes. Well, we all have our car mishaps.
Well,
Especially
he bought her a factory hypo 66 Mustang with a
yep.
4-speed.
Yep. Heard about that as well.
Yeah, and because of that wonderful unibody construction that they had there, my dad had to get a donor Mustang to pull the front end off
Ugh.
to make that work. And that had a little 289 on it, and Terry never learned how to spin the wheels on that. She'd sidestep the clutch and step on it, and it didn't have any traction bars on it, so it'd be this big
Just
bouncy thing
axle
on
wrap.
the
Yeah.
side. Uh, uh,
Well,
it
on
was it was very sad.
well, not we're not going to end this episode on a sad note. I think that's fun. That's a good one. Now I can.
The next
Ooh,
thing I got when I
one more
got rid
car.
of the El Camino was my '73 Dodge Power Wagon.
And then it was the era of Dodge pickups.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
'73 Dodge Power Wagon 4-speed with a 360.
that's a stout unit.
Yeah, it did everything that I wanted it to do. but then I traded that for an MGB
That
because I was
makes
going at
sense.
UCSB,
That
and
makes sense.
I had to have something a little more stylish down there,
Traded.
and I wound up trading that for a '69 BMW 2002.
Wow. I know you like some BMWs. I have a motorcycle in the garage as proof of that. I didn't expect that it was that far removed.
It was that far back that I'd been bitten by the bug. Yes.
Those fine engineers in Germany. They make nice vehicles, but they take some
Well,
work.
after owning the MGB, I will never own anything that's made by the Brits.
Yeah. They like to make fun of themselves for making things terribly.
Oh, that Lucas, the Prince of Darkness. I hated that thing.
Well, there. Now it's not a sad note. We're over an hour in, and I know we both have many more car stories, and I think
We'll
save
continue
those.
another because I've got
Yeah.
plenty going from here on in too.
Yeah. I think we should call this one so we don't lose listeners having an episode that's 4 hours long. And you and I should get back together real soon and do this again.
Sounds good to me, Theodore. How about your friend Nick?
I will do my best to get him involved. He has had just a very busy couple of months. We were off time because we don't change time in Arizona and you all do over there. And I thought that was bad at first, but then it worked out to where we could actually record early afternoons. He's got a 3-year-old, and he's got a job, and his wife's got a job, and they just have all kinds of stuff going on.
What, these people that are employed? Geez, where are you from?
We have debt. We are the millennials. We got to pay for things. But so I talk to him constantly, but getting him wrangled up for an hour and a half has been tricky for the past couple of weeks.
I would imagine.
Yeah, but he will be back. And when he comes back, we'll get together and record again. In the meantime, thank you, Dan, for joining us. That is it for this week's show. Everyone have a great evening, and we will see you. Talk to you next time. Bye.